Welcome to our TanaBell Wellness program, TVWP21. We're excited today because we have a couple of financial experts that are here to really help us do better financially, because we know that when we're stressed about finances, that impacts all of our life. And the first guest today is RJ Henderson. He is our banker with Zions Bank. RJ, will you introduce yourself to our team?
Sure, thank you. My name is RJ Henderson. I'm what's called a community banker for Zions Bank here in Pocatello, Idaho, which means I can handle anything from consumer lending all the way up to commercial lending, banking products, credit cards. So I kind of just do a little bit of everything and cover the full gamut. I've been in banking since 1999, so I've seen a few market fluctuations and have been around a little bit.
So we have some questions for RJ that we are going to ask him to help give us some advice to our team members. Our first question today, RJ, is this. What are your thoughts on balancing financial goals and enjoying life in the present?
That is a great question. And it probably, the answer differs depending upon how old you are and what things you've seen in life. One rule of thumb that I try to live on personally is I try to live on less than I make. And that's not the easiest thing to do, especially in this rising rate environment. The price of homes has gone up, the price of fuel is up, and a lot of budgets are tightened. What I would do, if you're single or if you're married, or you have a partner, I would sit down and create a budget. Know exactly how much money is coming into your household on a monthly basis. And this I would do after taxes. So what is your net income on your check? And I put that on one side of a piece of paper. I'll put the money that's come in. And then on the next side, what are my mandatory bills?
Your mortgage, rent, yeah.
Mortgage, utilities, car payment, and you subtract those two. And then at the bottom, you're going to have a number. And whatever that number is, hopefully, part of that is going into a savings account. But if it's tight, know that this is the money for coffee, for date night, for movies, for anything, car repairs, dentist bills, yes. That's how much you have.
If you do what you say, your income versus your outgo, and your outgo is greater than your income, then you got to look at another way to make some money, right?
Yes. I'll tell you one thing that was interesting, and my wife and I did this a couple years ago. Things had been tight, and we were trying to figure out, gosh, where's the money going? And what I had kind of been doing is always using a card. So it was just easy. You just swipe and you get what you need. So I started carrying cash. So what I would do is I would get to payday, pay the mandatory bills, and then I have my leftover. And then I would take my portion of that I normally spend if I go to lunch or if I go golfing or anything like that. And I put that money in my account. And I don't know what it did mentally, but when I went to a restaurant or if I went to lunch and I had to pull out that cash and look at it and go, man, I don't want to spend $12 today on lunch. Just give me the cheeseburger off the value menu with a water and a small fry. And that's $4. And then I kept that $8 in my wallet. Mm-hmm. And it was a mental shift for me on how I could stretch money, because the money was always visual. Huh. That's a good little secret that can help some people if they're a little addicted to their cards or it's a little too easy. Start carrying a little cash and see how long you can stretch it.
We have team members in all walks of life. What are some simple investments in any financial situation that someone could do?
Number one, open a savings account. It can be a modest savings. It can be whatever you can do. Learn to save, even if it's $1 a paycheck. So let me give you an example. Right now at Zions Bank, I'm going to pitch it.
I mean, go for it. Do it.
We have money market accounts that you can put as little as $10 in and go up to $24,000. and we're paying, I believe, 4.1%
That's the best percent it's been for a long time.
for a long time.
Like a long time.
Yes. So that's one thing to remember. As interest rates on vehicles, when we borrow money and those rates go up, most of the time the savings rates will go up also. And so to me, I always try to monitor the spread, if you will. So if I buy a pickup today at 7%, well, hopefully I have some money making me 4.25, so that I have just an effective rate between the two to offset that a little bit.
What is the shortest period of time that we could do a time CD?
So time CDs, now that's different.
Oh, okay. So what were you talking about?
I was talking about a money market account.
So just a regular savings.
It's a little bit, there's savings, and then there's money markets, and then there's CDs.
Okay.
CDs are where you put your money in, and let's say for 6 months.
There. Yeah.
Correct. You can't touch it.
Right.
Money market, it is liquid. You can take money out of the account, not as much as a savings account where you could transfer every day back and forth, back and forth.
But you also earn more interest than you do in a regular savings account, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So if you have what I heard a term the other day called idle money, right? Let's say you're a person that you always keep $1,000 for an emergency fund. Okay? Put that $1,000 in a Zion's money market account, and we'll pay you 4.1% on that money today.
I like to have an excess balance in my checking account all the time, because I was just like, well, you don't know when you're going to need that.
Right.
So I always keep I always keep a little bit. Mm-hmm. But so what do you think about, so I have like my savings account, and then I have like an emergency savings account. So probably that emergency savings account I could put in a money market.
Absolutely.
Because I could earn more there.
Yes.
And is there any chance of losing it?
Yeah, is money market stable, or were you going to lose that investment?
They're stable.
Not like a stock or
No. They're not traded on the secondary market. No.
Okay.
No. That is the amount of money that the lender will pay for you to deposit in their account, in their bank. Mm-hmm.
Now my last question for you now is words of wisdom for somebody with limited flexibility in their finances. What's just one last piece of advice? If you have limited flexibility in your finances, you're on a really tight budget, you've got some big obligations, what's one little piece of financial advice you think that you could give, or reiterate if you feel like you've already given it what you would tell them?
I like that question because it does give us an opportunity to pivot in a place that most people don't think about, and that is their credit rating. Okay? If you're on a very limited, tight budget, do everything you can to make your payments on time. Okay? Nothing will drop a credit score faster than a missed payment. And it's not a big difference whether it's the $450 car payment or the $10 Visa payment. They both show up as a late payment, and they will hit your credit score. And as your financial, I guess I could say, as you grow financially, right, and you get a little older, the higher the interest rate, the higher your credit score, the better terms you can negotiate with your bank, with your lender on an automobile loan. So if you choose to live messy, if that's the word I could use, meaning sometimes you I just forgot to make the payment. Oh, well, it's no big deal.
Kind of careless.
Yeah, careless.
Messy.
And so your credit score is always kind of in that lower 600 range, 650. You will always pay a higher interest rate than someone with a 750 credit score. Because from a lender standpoint of view, right? When we get a loan request and we look at a credit report, what's the very first thing we want to know is, how are we going to get paid back? How dependable are they? What are our chances if we borrow the money on this credit card or on this vehicle or on this boat, will we get paid back? And that's what the credit score is. It's a blueprint of our life, how we have handled our finances.
Question for you.
Yes.
Does it matter if you pay, well, a couple of questions. How come my credit score dropped when I opened a new credit card? First off, that irritated me. And second off, does it matter if you keep a balance on your credit card, or do you need to pay it off every month? Like, I like to pay it off every month because I want to live within my means.
Yes.
And I think that it negatively impacts my credit score if I leave a balance on it.
Great question. Really good question. No. Pay your credit cards off every month.
Okay.
Because almost, I want to say all lenders, if you pay it off monthly, you don't get that interest charge.
I know, and that irritates me.
Yes. So, and
'Cause the
credit
interest
cards
is
right
more-
now, they're extremely high, especially in the interest rate.
Right. They're like 20-something%.
Correct. Yep. So what you're talking about is what's called capacity, which affects your credit score. So I'll do a real quick explanation on it. So if a person has a credit card and your limit, let's say, is $1,000, so that we're using simple math, and you have a $500 limit on that card, whenever during that month they pull your credit report, if you have a $500 balance against a $1,000 limit, you are 50% utilized. Anytime you're over 30% utilization, it can negatively affect your credit score.
I was right.
Yes. So here's the kicker. Some people will say, close your credit cards. You don't need them, or, only keep one card. I'm the opposite. I have 5 cards. Now, I use one, sometimes 2, because you get better deals at Costco if you use the Costco card, but I have 2. I've had a Zion's Visa card for 14 years. It's a good rewards card. It pays well. I like the features on it. The best thing you can do is season your cards, okay? So let's say you're that person that has a $1,000 limit, but you've had that card for a year and a half. On the back of the card is going to be a 1-800 number. Mm-hmm. Call the customer service number and ask a simple question. Do I qualify for a limit increase? And if they say yes, we can give you a limit increase up to $3,000. So you have a $3,000 limit now with a $500 balance.
So it's looking better, and it's going to impact your credit better.
That's right. Now your credit score will go up a little bit.
Okay.
For all the years I've been in banking, the highest credit scores I see, they're going to be people that have a mortgage payment, maybe one car payment, and they'll have maybe 1 or 2 credit cards. Most of those credit cards will have a $10,000 to a $20,000 limit and less than $1,000 on them. That's where I see the 820, 840, 850 credit scores. Okay. Is using credit wisely, but not all the time.
Well, we hope that you've enjoyed this conversation with R.J. Henderson from Zions Bank, where we hope that you can find some value in the counsel and his experience that he shared with us. And we hope that everyone takes an opportunity to review their finances, look at their budget, set a budget, and look at it, and look for some small way that you can put even just a couple of dollars a paycheck into a savings account so that you can feel that you have a backup. You can feel some more security financially. Thanks again, RJ. We appreciate you.
You're welcome. And if there are any questions, feel free to call me.
Okay.
You have my contact information, and if anyone wants to ask you, I will gladly answer any questions for any one of your employees. Anything we can do to help.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Well, welcome back to TBWP 21. We're so glad to have you with us. Today we've invited Richard Oakey. He is a financial advisor to share some of his wisdom with us. Rick, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Kelly, for having me. It's nice to be here. So I've been a financial advisor now for about 28 years. We started this planning firm close to that time ago. The name of our firm is called Allegis Financial Partners. We have offices in Pocatello, Boise, northern Utah, and up into Seattle and Oregon. So it's good to be here. I'm excited to share this. I think this is a great thing you guys are doing.
And Rick also manages our 401k program. So when you've worked for us for a year full time and you're over the age of 21, you can reach out to Rick and he'll let you know when open enrollment is. Right now, June is the month of open enrollment for anyone who qualifies for that.
Yes.
So Rick will be your contact.
Yes.
So we've got some questions for you, Rick.
Okay.
And we're gonna pick your brain. So how does someone like me stay up to date in the ever-changing financial landscape? Some 1 year interest rates are low when everyone's going to sell their house and all the things, and the next year the interest rates are high, and you don't want to buy now because you'll be paying way more than, like, how do we keep up with that?
Oh, that's a great question. So I listen to podcasts a lot. I listen to a podcast called The Indicator from Planet Money is what it's called. And they're about 9 or 10 minutes long each day, and they talk about things that are going on in the economy and in the world, really. Things like the debt ceiling that we just went through here in the U.S., Russia and the war with Ukraine, unemployment, interest rates, all those kinds of things that are, we're all sensitive to. So, through the World Wide Web, we have so many resources available to us. It's really easy to tap into a lot of that stuff.
Do I have to be a financial expert to understand this indicator?
No, that's what I like about some of these podcasts is they're very simple and basic to understand, but they're very informative and they're very educational. I think there's a lot of resources out there, but I think if we keep our own financial situations in the forefront of our minds, I think that's what's really important. And when I say keep it in the forefront of our minds, I think if a person will at least review their own personal situation annually, at least, we would probably recommend twice a year, semi-annually. That's how you're going to, be abreast of any changes that might be taking place. And lastly, I think having a financial advisor like myself, to help you is very key and very critical, because any sweeping changes or important changes, in the financial landscape, an advisor would notify you, specific to your accounts and make those changes that would be necessary.
Okay, but do you have to be like some big spender, big roller to have a financial advisor?
No. I mean, there are a lot of firms, across the country have minimums that they would accept, in terms of taking on new clients. And we do have some minimums, but I don't think they're, super inflated minimums. I mean, we could, you don't.
So
you don't
average
need to.
person
Yeah,
can maybe.
absolutely.
Okay. We have team members in all walks of life. What are some simple investments in any financial situation that someone can do?
Good question. It's really simple and very easy to set up a Roth IRA account or a mutual fund account or like a brokerage account. And we would, set it up on an automatic basis where they just pull money out of a person's checking account. That adage of out of sight, out of mind really, I think, is true and helpful when we talk about savings. I think your money goes a lot further the less it runs through your hands or you see it, right? So if we can just automatically, pull money from your checking account and save into a Roth IRA, or something like that, it'd be very easy to do.
So if someone's on a fairly limited budget, is that something they could still do?
Absolutely.
If things are tight financially?
Yep. $25 a month, $50 a month, you would never even miss it, I promise, if you wanted to start saving in a Roth IRA, for example. And with all the apps we have now through our electronic devices, it's very easy to set these up. It's easy to track them. It's easy to make contributions to them. And it's even easy to take distributions or withdrawals from them when you need.
Roth IRA is before taxes come out of your check or after?
So Roth IRA is an after-tax investment.
So we've already paid taxes on it. So when
taxes.
we're not going to have to pay taxes on it again.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, that's excellent.
Yep.
That's what I was thinking.
Yes.
Okay. What is one thing that you wish you would have known about finances when you were fresh out of school?
Oh, was a really good question. So I thought about that, and I can't limit it to just one, so I picked two. Is that all right?
Yeah, you can do 2 or 3.
All right, so we talked about it earlier, a well-planned out budget for sure. And I've budgeted most of my whole life, but even if I had started earlier than I actually already did, it would have been nicer. And then the other thing is an understanding of the time value of money and how time really is our best friend when we talk about, investment and retirement planning.
So explain that.
Yeah. So, for example, if you, I ran this actually before I came. If a person were to put $100 a month away at the age of 18 and kept it in there until they were 65 when they retired, they would have put in $56,400. But over that period of time, that account would have grown to $521,000, a little over $521,000. So you would have made about $465,000 just in interest earnings.
Just on that $100 a month.
Yes, just on that $100 a month. And the reason that's happening is because of the time that
Compounding interest.
and the compounding interest effect over a period of time.
So if you can't do 100, do 50. If you can't do 50, do 25. You're not going to come up with 500,000, but you're going to come up with significantly more
Yeah, for sure.
than the little bit that you're putting in every month,
Every
right?
little bit helps. I talk to people all the time, and well, I don't have very much money, and my response is, it doesn't matter. $25 a month is great. It establishes and creates a habit of saving for people so that when they do get a raise or a different job maybe that pays them more, they're already in the habit of saving. And then it would be really easy for them to start saving $100 a month.
Okay, words of wisdom for somebody with limited flexibility in their finances. So in all of your years of experience financially, what is something that you really wish that you could share with somebody, especially if they're like, I am barely making ends meet. I have just, enough for a cup of coffee once a week or whatever. What are your words of wisdom for those people?
3 words: pay yourself first. To me, it doesn't matter how much money a person makes. That's really irrelevant to me. I believe that if you pay yourself first, back to that adage we talked about earlier of out of sight, out of mind, you've got to pay yourself first. I often ask our clients all the time, why do you go to work? And of course, they naturally most always say, well, I have to pay my house payment or to pay my car payment or to pay Winco or Idaho Power or whatever it is. So they go through this long list of stuff. And I try to help them understand that is in some ways crazy to go to work for everybody else but yourself. I mean, we go to work, all of us, and we work hard, all week long and all year long, year in and year out. We really should pay ourselves first. And I would submit to anybody that if you would do that, literally pay yourself first, you'll never miss those funds. You just won't. And we would recommend a minimum of 10% of
So
your
when you
savings.
say pay yourself first, you mean put money in savings for your
Yes.
future?
Yes.
Okay, that's what you
Yes.
mean. Not like go to the show and get a new outfit.
No, I mean
every
for savings.
time.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I should have clarified that. Yeah, you want to put 10% away for your future retirement needs and for savings, long-term savings, and even intermittent or intermediate savings, sorry. Something that might come up 10 years, 12, 15 years down the road, whether it be one of your kids going to college, buying a house, whatever it might be.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you for your time. I
You're
know you're
welcome.
busy. I
Yeah.
know you got lots on your plate. And I
Thanks.
sure appreciate you being here and sharing your wisdom.
Thanks for having me, Kelly.
We know life has challenges, and we want you to be able to find joy in your journey while working through your challenges. And hopefully the financial information in this podcast will help you do so. Have a great day.